Hello, everybody. Welcome. In this summit, we talk about sustainability and talent development. So my presentation is going to be about mostly talent development, since I'm teaching at Mohylinegy University of Art and Design, Budapest. And we use sustainable fashion a lot, although it is quite the oxymoron. Fashion is the second largest industry in the world. The market has never been so crowded, fashion studies have never been so popular, and the competition has never been so high. It is everything but sustainable, which leads to a question: the purpose of fashion for young students. How to teach and what to teach to them in Eastern Europe's most reputable university, where graduates are fighting the fear of their lack of identity, quarter-life crisis, or insensible copying. Being able to connect has been the most powerful tool to me, teaching them. I'm a 31-year-old lecturer from the university, and my name is Dori Tomcsányi. I would like to tell a few words about myself first. I founded my own brand in 2012 when I was still in the university. I was actually second year, and it wasn't enough for me what I did between the walls. I felt that I can do more. I can spend more time in the studio. So it somehow escalated quickly into becoming a brand. And in just a year, I was already presenting my collections in China, Singapore, or Paris. In 2014, I graduated from MA Fashion Design from Mohylinegy University. And in the same year, I won the Hungarian Design Award with my collection. In 2017, I started teaching at the university. I was asked to take care of the fashion design teaching, because they wanted to have a new voice, a fresh face between the teachers. So it was really interesting how I went back teaching just a few years later after I finished there. And my colleagues became, like, my new colleagues were my ex-teachers, so it was like a little weird for me to connect with them. In 2018, I was nominated as Designer of the Year by Glamour magazine. And it was a really good feeling for me with all these appreciation. These are my collections. This one was taking place in China, and the other one in the Fashion Week in Budapest just last year. And it was also in Milan Fashion Week in 2019. That was the first time when I was presenting with a show in Milan. So I'm going to show you a few student work from the BA graduate projects. Their task was to choose a painting from the Hungarian National Gallery's permanent collection as inspiration and build a collection around it and execute two final pieces at the end. And when they started to gather the inspiration, I realized very soon that most students have actually zero interest in the actual painting, and they move their project in a direction which gives them answers to the questions I've already mentioned. So most students' topics somehow escalated into a psychological aspect, and I want to show you these selected works to you now. The first one is Rika Hussar. And she selected this painting, The Kiss of the Sphinx, from Franz von Stuck. She took the inspiration from a symbolist painting focusing on the symbolism, the mythological figure of the Greek Sphinx. It is a half-woman, half-lion monster who killed thousands of people, especially men, with its riddle. For the Sphinx, it is a crazy mixture, basically, with different characteristic features. The animal side stands for freedom and bravery, while the human side represents the power of knowledge. She connected the idea with another great symbolist character, the mysterious femme fatale. Every outfit has its own message, representing different characters, starting from a woman who destroys everything, even herself. And while she developed the collection, she talked about sexual freedom, power of erotica, or just basic women's role in daily life. For example, in the middle, the brown suits represent the strength and the knowledge for her. The next student is Lala Tóth. She picked the painting, Maria Gravida, from an unknown painter. This painting has been modified once, and then painted back to its original version. It's important because the modification was actually hiding Maria's pregnancy. And also, it was painted with a bigger smile, so she looks kinder. And there was also Joseph on the painting, which somehow was deleted during its modification. It was announced as apocryph during the Trident Council in the 16th century, and this is why it got all removed. Maria has all the objects around her on the painting, showing the greatness of the role as a wife, and also her purity. So this was the inspiration that Lala has used through her collection. And it builds up pretty nicely, because in the beginning, it starts with very plain and white. That's the purity, the childhood stage of being a woman. So it's basically a collection around an idea of the unwanted expectations of a woman. It processes the different life stages with the purity, childhood, then stepping into adulthood and responsibility, and after start working, world of working, how it's still unusual but also new and exciting to a person when she or her starts working. And then there is this purple body, for instance, which is before having children, when still a woman feels that her body is perfect and skinny and nice. And then after having children, when it changes into a very different direction, and also how the woman matures, the collection also evolves. And these are the executed pieces. The virgin state, the getting adult state, the starting working life state, before pregnancy, after pregnancy, and maturity. I think it's a very nice way of describing a woman's life in a collection. She also selected fabrics very carefully. For instance, the blue body is a hand-woven piece, and the front describes a woman's body after giving birth, and the back of the body describes, it's like a very sexy cut-out piece, which describes like how the pressure, what women feel, how they need to get back into shape after giving birth. The next one is Fanny Ricoche with the martyr, József Gál's painting. This painter is actually still alive, and Fanny could reach out to him and talk to him. And when she asked him that, what is this painting about, he replied that he actually doesn't remember painting this picture. He said that was the time when he became a father, and he had all these fears and anger inside him, so he couldn't really say, what is this about? But he did remember how he felt at that time, how difficult it was for him. And it was the inspiration for Fanny. So she didn't use the painting, but she used the story behind how the painter felt like when he became the father. So it is basically the collection is a metamorphosis of a man whose identity is changing from an individual into a family man. She has created different textile surfaces with 3D pattern designs, and it's all based on the idea of loneliness versus togetherness. soft and puffy fabrics, which represents the family, while the cold and stingy patterns represents the loneliness. And this is the final collection, what she developed. The fourth student is Marcel Csillag. His inspiration was the painting Narcissus from Gyula Bencúr. I think we all know the character, the Greek mythological character Narcissus. He was the most beautiful man, so he was punished not to ever see himself. Once he looked into a lake and immediately fell in love with himself through his reflection. And Marcel used this inspiration to study the self through a psychological aspect. It was very interesting. Actually, he thought that he has narcissistic personality disorder, and he was like super into this topic, and he was doing lots of research. And at the end, when the time he finished the collection, he said, well, I don't have it. And I said, well, we all knew that, but it was a very, very funny way how he approached this whole project. This is his collection. It's basically also metamorphosis from hiding one's personality and then opening up. So he designed all these oversized coats, black coats, with a very carefully and delicately pleated lining inside. He hand-painted them, pleated them, and he created these matching dresses with them. His aim was to show the complexity of one's personality without judging from the outside. The next student is Valentino Sarwash. He chose a painting from Imre Bak. Its name is Mirroring. He chosen this geometrical abstract painting and worked with creating symbols. He has studied the 70s when the painting was created, and he read all these articles about how was the socialist idea about art that time, and he read like lots of stories behind when this painting was created, and then he took everything he learned and mixed it up and used it to create a collection which he wanted to be bold and fierce. He worked with minimalism, hard edge, pop art, kitsch, and other aspects from modern art. As Imre Bak's favorite topic was the space among us, he also used it to understand what it means nowadays. So he created his prints with 3D to add a new vision to the modern space. And this is his full collection. And he developed quite some pieces, and it was a really hard process for him to actually design the prints and then put them on the clothes and learn them how to cut them properly, so he will see the final results the same as he designed them. So I think for third-year students, it's quite the job to do. And this is the fashion show from their graduate show. The next student is Bellatringer. She chose József Borsos's Emir of Lebanon's painting. This painting actually hides a fraud. On the painting, it is a Hungarian Count Edmond Zichy who has ordered this painting of himself, stating how well-traveled he is. And when Bea looked after this painting, she realized that actually Edmond Zichy never traveled that far. And she really started to think about traveling. And after studying the painting and its background, she opened Instagram and she typed #travel in it. And what she realized, that it was quite funny, because she saw that whenever Europeans travel to India, for instance, they put on a sari. When they go to Morocco, they dress up like Scheherazade. And she didn't understand why this kind of Orientalism is taking place now, and why Europeans feel that their jeans and t-shirt is not enough anymore when they're traveling that far. So by studying this, she became really, really jealous of it, and she really wanted to also travel. So her idea was that she will actually make herself travel through the collection, mixing boundaries of different cultures and developing her own Orientalism. She used silk and lots of beads, and there are lots of handmade details on the clothes, which are quite amazing. And then in the end, her goal was to process and to return home with the glory of a sultan. So that was her travel through her collection. The next student is Agnes Wario. She chose a painting of Gyula Cimre, Interior with a Vase. She was one of the most interesting students because when I started to teach her 2 years ago, she was really shy, and she was really the gray mouse among the others. Like she never really had a voice. And she chose this painting, which is the artist's own house. And the artist's story is that he decided to move out from the city, and he chose the slow life. He didn't really have many objects in his house, but the space on the painting has a very cheerful and positive mood, even though it's almost quite empty. So the first picture is the original. Then Agi started to dress it up a little with her favorite objects and how she would decorate it as if it would be her own. And basically, she was investigating how much are we allowing to others to see. Her personal struggle was always not being good enough or not having a cool enough personality. So she was really into this topic that how much and how she can communicate with different objects through her life. And it was really interesting when she understood it's nonsense that it's not enough what she does, and started to focus on the fact that it is actually more than enough what she does. The change was huge within the next 6 months. She let go of the fear of not being exciting enough, or just she found the purpose of her projects, and it was a beautiful transformation. So basically, she got to know what she actually likes without wanting to be someone else. That was the project about. So these are the students' works I brought for today. And in my experience, the artistic self-expression is positioning the young students as designers. Learning how to show their unique idea of the world is elevating them becoming artists, rather than being just another person in the fashion industry. Their fear and doubt has helped them find their artistic voice, and this is exactly what shapes the education of sustainable fashion on a long term. So that was my presentation, but I would like to stay for some questions and answers. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.